bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city. And this great city is speaking of Babylon the Great, that virgin daughter that's been untouched, which is also another name for America today. And those dead bodies are speaking of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, spiritually and physically, because spiritually, the 2/3 are dead to the fact that they're the children of the Most High, and physically, with Jake's getting brutalized in this country in the past during slavery, and today getting shot by cops and such like that. And I'll just reread it. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. And we can see how America is Sodom today with just the perversity that goes on in this country, such as homosexuality, transgenderism, bestiality, feminism, and now talks of making pedophilia just another sexual preference. And with Egypt, just look at the back of your dollar bill. They've got the pyramids as well as the Washington Monument, which is just an obelisk. The elites of this country used the witchcrafts of Egypt to control the people, where also our Lord was crucified, and that's speaking of Yahushua HaMashiach, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And where was he crucified? He wasn't crucified here or in Sodom or Egypt. He was crucified in Rome, which America is also spiritually a part of Rome as well, because that dragon spoken of in Revelation 12 is the reincarnated Roman Empire, which is that NATO-EU alliance, which the United States is a part of. And now I'm going to go to Mark 3, verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, the kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, the house cannot stand. And as we just read in that article, these Edomites, or so-called white people, are at the point of being at each other's throats, and things are about to pop off. There's about to be violence in the streets, especially when that economy collapses. You've got the left that's definitely going to blame Trump for it, and you can see how they're building up that case for it through the trade war, which is going to turn bad for America. And now I'm going to close it off in 2nd Esdras chapter 15. I'm going to start at verse 14 to show that civil war is biblical. Woe or destruction to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, Egyptian against Egyptian, and also race wars, when you're going to have so-called African Americans against so-called white people. You're going to have so-called Latinos against so-called white people, and vice versa. And swords in their hands, violent fighting in the streets, civil wars, race wars. There shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes or their politicians. And you can see that now with that Democratic Representative Maxine Waters calling for people to attack Trump, people in Trump's administration, which are definitely considered kings and princes. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Because of martial law, these cities are going to be locked down, and you're going to need some form of identification to go where you want to go, which is where that Mark of the Beast microchip in your right hand or your forehead comes into play. So as you brothers can see, things are just heating up. And with this video, I hope you brothers were edified. Just keep pushing on. We're at the door. I'm going to say Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharala. Until next time, Shalom.